Greetings and welcome to the Knife Magazine YouTube channel. Today, a quick look at the October 2022 edition of Knife Magazine. Knife Magazine is the largest publication in the knife industry, 50% larger than a standard magazine like you might find on the newsstand or a supermarket. Knife Magazine is available by subscription only. We're not available at any newsstand and only at a few select cutlery stores nationwide. We are also available online through our website, knifemagazine.com. When you subscribe to the print edition of Knife Magazine, you will receive in the mail a sealed plastic envelope containing the issue where it is protected, so you will get it without damage and you can keep them forever in pristine condition. The cover knife of our October issue is a unique example of the Swedish barrel knife. Now typically these knives have iron mounts and birch handles, but this particular one was re-hilted for the Columbian Exposition in 1893 by Tiffany and Company of New York, all done in silver, which is etched with this incredibly detailed scene. This knife is documented in the Tiffany archives and just came up for auction recently where it sold for a good deal of money. I don't remember the figure right off, but we'll put it in the description. We thought it was an apt knife to put on the cover, despite the fact that the article deals with typical Swedish barrel knives, because this is sort of the mother of all Swedish barrel knives. Let's take a look inside. As always, we have great appreciation for the advertisers that support Knife Magazine and make it possible for us to deliver this publication to you in the quality that it is, while catering to a niche marketplace, which is essentially what we are. This is a magazine designed for collectors, serious knife enthusiasts, knife makers, people who are serious about their knives. So, Case, FlexCut, thank you so much for what you do, and all the others all throughout the magazine, as you'll see as we keep turning pages. So each month we have a selection of feature articles and monthly columns and other features of different kinds, as you'll see as we continue. So Swedish barrel knives is sort of a typical article on antique knives by Knife Magazine. We try to do a little bit of everything each month, so we have something for every sort of enthusiast, and much of which you would not find in another Knife Magazine. Because we're not on the newsstand, we don't have to cater to the latest trend or satisfy our advertisers or address things that have an immediate return in the marketplace. There's no one around to capitalize on a Swedish barrel knife article, unless maybe it's a dealer who happens to be trying to sell a bunch of these antique knives. They're not made anymore, but we're able to cover them and to discuss the novelty of these knives, the history of them, the merits of them, and why someone would collect them. And maybe we'll inspire a custom knife maker along the way to try to tackle one. The mechanism of a Swedish barrel knife is shown here in Dennis Ellingson's article, and these are some classic examples of what a Swedish barrel knife looks like closed. As you see, they're miniatures. Here we show differences in the mechanism. The oldest patent that we're aware of on Swedish barrel knives, which is 1874, and believe it or not, these knives are practically always Swedish when you find them, but actually they were invented in Wisconsin, to the best of our knowledge. If someone else has information to the contrary, please let us know. Admiral Steel, Mount Vernon Knife Show, thank you for your support. Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Lansky, everyone. So typically barrel knives are marked on the inside scale of the internal knife portion. You can see some examples of that here, and here's a listing of some different makers that are known. Our second article this month is on the Tops Silent Hero 4, which is a great little solid EDC knife, smaller version of the original Silent Hero by Tops Knives of Idaho. Take it out, test it, tell you what we think. This is an interesting historical story by Jim Sornberger on the famous cutlery shop Nordic Knives, which used to be in California and has since moved to Idaho. A little bit of history on Nordic Knives and photos from the show and the revival of the show, which is coming next year. Being in California, it tended to attract a lot of celebrities and such. Here we have David Crosby with knife maker Harumi Hirayama. That article continues on later. A monthly feature of Knife Magazine and its predecessor, Knife World, since 1978, I think, has been What Is It?, written by knife expert Bernard Levine, member of Cutlery Hall of Fame. Jim Sornberger is member of the Cutlery Hall of Fame. Bruce Voiles, member of the Cutlery Hall of Fame. We have a lot of Cutlery Hall of Famers who contribute to Knife Magazine, which gives you an idea of the respect that we have in the knife community. Anyway, What Is It? Typically deals with historic knives and interesting topics, perhaps submitted by our readers, or perhaps things that we just thought were interesting and decided to address. Here's some more photos from the Nordic Knives article. Shelley Berman passed here a couple of years ago, I think, but he was a regular and even an active participant in the production of the show over there, the Solvang show. We get a lot of ads from shows such as the Northeast Cutlery Collectors Association, NCCA shows, Texas Custom Knife Show, which is coming up here in a month or so as we record this. Another example here, auctions, and here's a big auction coming up from Poulin Auction Company with a bunch of Bowie knives in it. Bruce Voiles has regular auctions online. Matthew Parkinson is one of our New England representatives who writes a bi-monthly column on bladesmithing, and of course that deals with knife making in part two. In this instance, he's talking about how one gets started in knife making as far as equipment and your initial shop and what the layout would be like, that sort of thing. John Davis, Buckeye Engraving, Nashville Custom Knife Show coming up again next month as I record this. The American Bladesmith Society alternates every other month with a column about what's going on in the ABS. The other association that does this is the Knife Makers Guild, so the two largest knife making organizations in the world. We want everybody to stay updated with what they do and help people be aware of that. So each month in Knife Magazine we have a center spread, which of course turns into a poster. All you have to do is pop it out. Custom knives from some of the best and most unique knife makers out there, and shot by some of the best photographers out there. Knife News covers the latest in knife news, whether that's a new release from Leatherman or Columbia River or Flex Cut in this example, or goings on like the Moran opening of the new shop, which just happened this past weekend, again as I record this. Really interesting thing. We've covered this in past articles which are available to members on our website. Again, small, large advertisers, all different kinds, thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do this without you. So we historically have run a large number of articles on military knives, and again, there's really no profit potential for doing an article on military knives because the government has no interest in selling these knives to you. And these are historic examples, of course. You may recognize the design of the Global Survival Kit Axe, which is the military designation, or one of the military designations for this survival item. You may recognize it as a woodsman's pal, which essentially is, the commercial name for the military item. Not all of them were produced by the same company, so here we're showing different variations in the axes, if you will, or whatever you want to call them. It's a type of knife, really, in my estimation, but different variations in the way they're marked, in the sheaths, in the manufacturing, and some of the government specs and the history behind it. White River Knife and Tool, Blacksmith Depot, thank you for what you do. Very photo-heavy article here. Thank you, Cass Iberia, longtime supporters, Chris Reeve Knives. We really appreciate you. So we also have 2 columns each month from the 2 organizations in the knife community that help protect our rights for ownership and knife carry. So Knife Rights each month, and the American Knife and Tool Institute, both of which contribute. Typically, Knife Rights is covering what's going on in the world of knives, legislation, and that sort of thing, whereas ACTI in recent months has been doing stories about the situation of different, not really a situation. ACT typically does columns on what the state of the law is in different areas of the country, different angles on laws that are existing, what the problems are with them, and things you might want to be aware of as a knife owner. And John H. Davis and our monthly giveaway, which we have a video of that up already. Boker, longtime supporter of what we do. And here's an article from collector Tom Gross, who collects IXL knives, and we have a variety of different knives in his collection. He explains how his collection began and the history of the IXL knife. George Wostenholm. Bruce on the Loose is our first column. Each month we have 2 columns by Bruce Voiles, Cutlery Hall of Famer, the guy who started the Blade Show, really. If you're familiar with the Blade Show, this is the man who started it. Bruce gets an editorial each month, and also a piece on knife values, which you really can't get that anywhere else these days, I don't believe. All the knife books are out of print due to lack of sales. And so we have a monthly column contributed here by Bruce, who focuses on different types or groups of knives each month and why they are more or less collectible right now and what the values would be. So here we're dealing with Schrade old-timers and actually a couple of Ulster old-timers, which if you're not familiar with the detailed history of old-timer, you will find this particularly interesting. Amtac blades, Acti, Blue Ridge knives, thank you all for your support. And M. Custa, which we just had a story on M. Custa last month, I think, on a field trial of that. Some Schrade old-timers here, some of the typical ones you might see, and this one's a prototype that you probably won't see anywhere else. Thank you, Crazy Crow. Each month we have the largest events calendar in the world of knives that you will find anywhere, except for one place, and that is on our website, because we have more room on our website to cover shows from around the world, or little shows that maybe wouldn't make this because they're not significant enough. But if you go look at the knife calendars and other publications, you will probably determine pretty quickly what their source is for those shows. Small classified section each month, and the largest bookseller of books on knives and knife making and knife history and all that sort of thing, that would be Knife World Books, which is a branch of Knife Magazine. Thank you, Jance, for your support there. You know, a really great supplier of materials to the knife making community and a longtime supporter of what we do. And of course, Bluegrass Cutlery, owner of the Winchester license on knives and the Bluegrass, the John Primble brand, who have been advertising in that particular place in Knife World and Knife Magazine since, about 1992 or so 30 years. Anyway, that is a quick synopsis of what the October 2022 Knife Magazine contains. To get one, don't go to your Barnes & Noble, don't go to your supermarket, you have to subscribe. And you can do that at knifemagazine.com. And again, you'll get this nice sealed package in the mail. Open it up, and you'll get a mint condition, perfect magazine that you can preserve. These fit very nicely in legal sized filing cabinets. They won't fit in a regular letter sized filing cabinet because we're 50% larger than any other knife magazine. Anyway, thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Give us a like, give us a follow, and come on back to the Knife Magazine YouTube channel. We've got a lot more videos on the way. Thank you and have a great day.